During my Toy Story 2 video, I teased at the very end what my next potential project could be, but given that a few videos came out before this one, that clearly didn't happen. But here we are, finally playing a game from my childhood that I spent so many hours on. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Buzz Lightyear of Star Command on the PlayStation 1. I just wanted to say thank you for all the attention that the channel's been getting as of late. We're currently sitting at 60 subscribers and we have a target of 65. Leave a like, comment and subscribe and sound off in the comments what you think about Buzz Lightyear and any suggestions you have for the channel. But enough of that, let's jump right in. Buzz Lightyear of Star Command was a game released by Disney, Activision and Traveller's Tales back in 2000, and it was a tie-in release for the animated series produced by Disney and was met with a fairly decent response, some praising the world building it provided from this corner of the Toy Story universe, while others criticised its gameplay loop and variety. This game's no masterpiece by any standards, but as a kid it was so much fun and was something I really wanted to dive into. I played it on PC and PS1, and despite there not being any difference at all, it was a fun time. Has it held up today though? Yes and no. Bit of a mixed bag. The game's very different from Toy Story 2, and this time round, rather than follow the premise of the series, it follows Buzz chasing down villains from the wrong side of Star Command and arresting them. Running from point A to point B is the main goal, and if you reach the end before the villain, Mira will show up and help you win against the boss quicker. But if you don't get there first, you have 15 seconds to reach the end, or else you fail.
You won't stop me. Your powers are no match for mine.
Well, I'll certainly have to try.
On top of this, you have extra missions to do for each level, and these are in the form of time trials and collectathons, both of which are somewhat mandatory as you need a certain amount of tokens to progress through the game. There are 13 levels in the game, which involve running from point A to point B, and the 14th mission is more of an extension of the 13th, facing evil and Preserg in his throne room, which I'll admit was a really cool boss fight. There are enemies, power-ups, coins and booster tokens throughout each level that will help clear an area of enemies but may slow you down and potentially cause you to fall behind. It's very risk and reward. Each boss has certain weapon requirements that are needed to drain their shield. If you don't have this weapon, then there are ways to get it, but it can drag the fight out longer and it can be a nuisance as, despite how repetitive this can get, some bosses are tackled differently than others. The level design on this game is fantastic. Travelling across farm planets, sprawling skyscrapers and nighttime factories adds a lot of variety to the design, with some levels even being vehicle based. You can pretty much outrun every single boss except for one, the Wirewolf. He's programmed to always be faster than you, and this is where one aspect of the game is really enforced: bombs. From level 3 onwards, you're introduced to a new objective: bombs. They'll spawn somewhere in the level and a countdown will start. Find it within the time limit and destroy it, or else it goes off and you fail.
Set.
Believe it or not, it's really not that difficult though. The only level it becomes an issue, as mentioned, is the Wirewolf level, as you have to progress floor by floor, enemy by enemy while traversing the map. As a kid I really struggled with this level. I just couldn't comprehend what I needed to do and I failed so much. My best friend at the time helped and got me through it. Genuinely felt like I accomplished something major. A lot of the time you find yourself revisiting old planets through the game and facing different bosses, the biggest difference being you're in a different area, and compared to the last, it's nice, but upon replaying it for the video, I really would have loved to see new different planets and locations. May come across a bit nitpicky as system limitations could be a factor in this decision to revisit old locations. Patrick Warburton lends his voice to Buzz and reprises his role from the animated series, taking over Tim Allen for this version of the character. I can't tell you how much he sounds like Joe Swanson in this game though.
A lot more than the prison jumpsuit you'll be wearing.
You'll never stop me, Buzz Lightyear!
Well, I'll just have to give it the old Ranger try, won't I? Stop right there, Creepazoid!
The music in this game is fantastic. Just listen to some of these tracks. The composer Keith Leary worked on games such as Demon Souls, Spider-Man 2, and... So I've spoken a lot about the levels and the music, but how did the time trials and the XR missions hold up? They're not my favourite thing, I must say. The only reason I don't like these missions is because of how strict they can be, especially with time trials on this game. I can forgive XR's collectathon missions for being somewhat lenient in how much time you're allotted, but those time trial missions can be savage. For starters, you need to finish the level in record time in order to receive either half a medal or a full medal. Towards the end of the game, I really had to go back and earn a lot of these medals. The one level I struggled with the most was Trade World 1. You have a specific path to follow and have perfect timing to take into account. You go wrong somewhere and you have to start the whole level again. The end part of this level was the dick kicker, and this was down to the controls being so slippery in certain areas. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I tried this, but just look for yourself. XR needs our help and asks Buzz to find his parts before time runs out. You never have to finish the level as you collect what you need and finish around the halfway point. It's really not that bad, but I did find some levels completely running past parts and ended up having to restart. As well as these two mission types, in the main levels you also have a certain number of LGMs to collect for another medal to earn. This one wasn't difficult at all, as they're generally found on the way to the end of the level and are very easy to spot. Collecting them is a task in itself though. Just look at this. Right now, I'm going to rank the bosses and levels and give a brief description as to why I put them in this position. 14. Warp Dark Matter. Fuck this boss and this level, I just keep getting lost. 13. Blackfin. Not the worst boss, but definitely the worst level. There's a reason that this is the only water level. 12. Plasma Boy. Ice physics in games suck, and when the game is already slippery, this just adds to the frustration. 11. Torque's Henchman. Nothing interesting about this one, just a tutorial fight, but to give the level credit, it's very bright and happy. Number 10, Skreel. Looks the complete opposite to level 4 boss Marl. 9, Marl. Lovely level, mid-fight. 8, the Fixer. The boss fight is good, but when he floats into the sky, it's super annoying, but the Metropolis vibe is great. 7, Gravatina. Not a bad fight, kept falling in the lava though, and can be done wrong if you don't have the right weapons. 6, Torque. Brad Goretta's Torque, that is all. Also pretty farmland. 5, Wirewolf. Annoying level, but such a well designed one and mixes things up well. He's fast and hard hitting. 4, Zerg. The first fight with Zerg is worth the build up, but very easy, and Planet Z is very sinister looking. 3, XL. Similar to Gravatina, make sure you have the right weapons because XL can stomp you hard. 2, Note 4A2. The first vehicle stage alongside a decent fight that requires some thought before taking the robot vampire head on. And number 1, Zerg. The throne room fight is just epic, proving why Zerg is top dog. Again, very easy to get done in if you aren't careful. The weapons in the game are decent too. Standard issue blaster rifle is something you start entry level, and you can use credits to buy weapons during the levels and stand a better chance against the enemies. Green is standard, purple is electric, so on and so forth. If I had to pick a favourite, it's this one. It hits multiple enemies at once, and when it's fully upgraded, it can do a lot of damage. Definitely your best friend during level 11 against the Wirewolf. This game is not as fun as Toy Story 2, but it sure is a good time. Borrowing certain menu elements from the game, and they're probably the only similarities that I could find given that they're two very different experiences. The score, world and characters give it the life, and it shows why this is the world of Toy Story. If done right, it can be expanded upon to infinity and beyond. It's fun and a lovely little reminder on why Buzz is my favourite Toy Story character. I'll probably revisit it in the future, see if my opinion shifts. But what was your favourite memory of Buzz Lightyear of Star Command? Or failing that, do you have a favourite character from the Toy Story universe? Sound off below, let me know, and be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe. Thank you everyone. Tune in next time when we talk about possibly one of the best games ever made and one of the most underrated games ever made. Goodbye everyone. See you soon.